All right, everybody. I have a new YouTube video for you guys today. Again, we're continuing this series of if what I think every young adult needs to know about personal finance before they graduate college or leave the house. And so today we're going to talk about irregular income. Now, for those of you who are like, oh, it's another stupid budgeting video, I'm just going to skip it. Don't skip it, because all of these concepts build upon one another, and before you can worry about other aspects of personal finance, you got to get these building blocks right. And if you looked at last week's video where I talked about goals and how the budget fits into that, this is kind of the same thing. It's just another layer added on to it. And so today we're going to focus on irregular incomes. And before you think, oh, I have a W-2 job, I don't need to have that. Do you get a bonus? Do you get stock comp? You might get other extras with the job that you will want to budget for. So stay tuned. But if you enjoy this content, there are a few simple things that I would love for you to do, and I'd be grateful for your support. Number one, hit the like button. That doesn't cost you anything, and it's easy to do. Two, subscribe to the channel so that you get new content delivered to you on your mobile device or on your computer if you watch it there. Most people watch them on their phones now, though, so I know that. Hit the bell to get the alerts so that you're alerted when the new content comes out. And lastly, share it with your friends. Everyone needs to hear this. I know there's a lack of personal financial education in this country, and I'm trying to do my part to help solve that. And these videos are free. Like, you can watch them at your leisure and hopefully learn something. And so what I want to talk about is an irregular income. An irregular income, let's just start, might be if you work in sales, maybe your January income is here, February is here, March is here, April's there, May is there, and like it just bounces all over the place. And you're just like, well, how do I budget for this? How do I budget for this? How do I know? I don't know where my income is going to be. I don't know. It could be here. It could be here. I don't know. Well, we're going to walk through that. And the first step is, start with your minimum income here. And what that means is your budget should be based on, if I look at like maybe the last 12 months, okay? If I look at the last 12 months and I would say, hey, my average income, what I could reasonably expect to have conservatively, you can make that estimate, is $5,000 a month. And I know that that's maybe my lowest month is $5,000 a month. And my highest was 10. So let's just say 5,000, okay? Let's say $5,000, okay? So you can say, the minimum is 5,000. Now this could also be, if you work a sales job, that could be like what your base is. If you have a draw, whatever it is, like you just want to have a set minimum, okay? Of, I know that pretty much no matter what, I'm always going to get that amount. And that's going to be different for everybody. If you work a W-2 job and you have a salary, if you have a salary component of that, that would be your salary. Now, any bonuses and all of that would get budgeted separately. So it's kind of the same thing. So what we want to start with is, here's our minimum. And again, how you determine that, you can do any of those methods I just explained. Like, just go through, look at your last 12 months, figure out what the minimum was. If you want to pad that some more, that's certainly fine. But that's what I would do, is just look at your salary history and just see what your income, where it has wound up. And again, if you're confident it'll be higher, you can assume higher if you want. But just, you want to be conservative with that. And so what you're going to then do is you're going to say, okay, I have my $5,000 of income. And then you're going to go through and budget the needs. Needs first. So what I mean by this is, you want to budget here. If you have your income coming in, I want you to go through all of the necessary expenses. So you want things like, shelter. You have to have that. Food. Transportation. I'm going to abbreviate it trans. I'll just write it out so people can read it. Maybe maybe your utilities. You want to always make sure that no matter what income is coming in, that it is going to the most important things. Now, you could also put a savings goal in there. You could also say, hey, I want to always save this much of my pay. And you can certainly add that in here. But you want to focus on your essentials. And I'm not here to define what those are for you. You can, if you think that going to the gym is essential, I like going to the gym, but I have a home gym. But I completely get you on that. If that's important to you, put it on here. You want to make sure that this dollar amount, sorry, the marker's drying out. This dollar amount, that you've accounted for all of your essentials. Because here's what this does, is it covers your base. In other words, your minimum income that you will get, and if hopefully you're conservative with it, your minimum income that you will get will cover all of the necessary expenses that you have. That's the building the base. Now, what we want to do then is after that, then let's say we cover that, and then let's say in this example, well, let's say, let me go back here. Sorry, let me write that. Prioritize additional income. So now, let's say here, let's draw a little bar chart in here. I'm gonna have to go in front here and do this, or else it's gonna look all crooked and stuff. So I want to go on here, okay? And we're gonna say this was your 5K, and this covered, all of your essentials. Right? That covered your essentials. Sorry, it's a little sloppy. But let's say now you get an extra 5K. So you get an extra 5K this month. Like, you have extra money coming in. That's awesome. So now, what do we do with this? Well, now what you need to do is, and come up with this game plan ahead of time. When you have extra income, say, okay, I want to put this much extra in the savings. Maybe I want to put more in my 401k. Maybe you want to put more towards a nice vacation. Maybe you want to put some in eating out, stuff like that. Do that. That's perfectly fine. That's however you want to do it. I'm not here to dictate budgeting is so individualized. You can do what you want and what is right for you. So I recommend, like any of the wants, like anything that you don't have to have, make it part of this. And I would also try to save more if you can, because you never know. You never know when you might have maybe this gets cut at some point, maybe the economy turns. So having a little bit bigger emergency fund might be very beneficial to you. So maybe you put some of that in there. You can do, again, whatever you want, but you want to make sure that extra money is allocated out. Have a game plan for it. That's going to be the key. Have a game plan for that extra $5,000. And then you can allocate that how you see fit. And I think if you do this, you do these couple steps here, you can easily budget for an irregular income. Now, some other things that I would keep in mind. Again, if you have an irregular income, and while you made that assumption that the 5K is the minimum, you could have, again, and I want to reiterate this because it's an important point, I just talked about it, is the economy, like even right now, it's a little uncertain. And we have inflation running high. We have the Federal Reserve raising interest rates right now at this point in time. And this is May of 2022 when I'm recording this video. But you may have other things. And so if you're worried about a job loss, if you're worried about this going from 5K to 4K, then build up your emergency fund. Maybe you go past 6 months. Maybe you go towards a year of expense. I understand there's an opportunity cost because you're not investing it, but let me tell you something. Right now, the market is down about 20%. The S&P 500 is about 20%. It's got to give you it has to be nice to know that you have a nice cash cushion if you build that up. So don't always worry about the opportunity cost of investing. You want to make sure that you focus on this and having this. So again, the key is with regular budgets, you want to make sure that number one, that you find your minimum. Find a minimum amount that you know you're always going to get every month. And budget, prioritize the essentials. Maybe that's saving, charitable giving. It's most people are going to have the utilities, shelter, and all of that. But you have got to figure out what works for you in terms of what your priorities are. And then any additional income on top of that, use that for more of your wants and your desires. But also don't forget that you should save a little bit of extra for it. It can only help you. And if you have other debt that you're paying down, get that paid off as quick as you can. And I didn't even talk about that in here. But yeah, you want to make sure that, like if your essentials, if you have minimum payments on cards and all that you need to make, or you're paying down debt, make sure that you're really prioritizing that when you're building your budget. So hopefully you got a lot of value out of this video. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them below in the comments. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at mdeepcpa or on Twitter at mdeep_CPA. And deep is DEEPE if you don't know. But yeah, follow me there and ask questions. Also, I go live on Instagram quite a bit, and so if you have questions there, feel free to jump in and ask them. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic day.